Wow, that's very, very interesting. And by the way, that makes me an easy transition to Rotem, because Rotem, with Wand.ai, what you're putting to the market is a platform that allows to build assistants in different roles that can collaborate one with another, right? This sounds very futuristic.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for inviting me here, and thanks a lot for the introduction. So the core things that Wand is doing is what we call artificial workforces. So we have the human workforce today, and we are working on an artificial version for companies to be able to have those agents collaborating together between themselves first, but also with humanity. So if we are thinking at the first generation of what happened with generative AI, the focus was to see how we are able to create a single artificial brain that is able to take information and to generate responses based on it. If we are thinking about the human brain in that context, so the human brain didn't change a lot during the last thousands of years, but the society and information flows between different humans is what enables us to step up and create most of the things that we've created today. There's still a lot of work on the artificial brain. We call it, what we are working on, we are calling it cognitive language models, with improved reasoning capabilities and planning capabilities and self-awareness capabilities that are working a bit differently than transformers today, that have several gaps. One of them is the need to have a lot of data, and as mentioned before, it's much easier to get to human capabilities when you have these execution capabilities after that you are able to get feedback into the system. And actually, coding is one of those, because you can run the program and see if it's working, get the output of it back to the models and have this feedback loop. But there are also other ways to get to those points. So there are still a lot of work in how we are creating this artificial brain. But as humanity evolved based on society interactions and working together, the next generation of the technology, we believe, is going to go to build a society of agents, a group of agents that are able to collaborate together and able to evolve over time. So let's take an example of a company today. Let's say Capgemini in that case. They are running and executing a lot of tasks. And when they understand that they have gaps in the executions, they will hire new people in order to execute the tasks in a better way next time. We want to enable agents in a similar processes. So they are able to execute the tasks that they have, that they are tasked from the human's part. And if they believe that they can do it better next time, we want this group to self-evolve, to kind of hire a new agent automatically, autonomously, in order to be able to run it in a better way. So very similar to what was discussed before, because the task was executed and we got some feedback from humans, ideally, at the end of this process, we are able to compare those two groups of agents after that. So having a group that is executing tasks, checking the inefficiencies in the execution, or at least assuming what's the inefficiencies and what's the solution, creating a new group of agents that is better, with new functionalities, with new roles that were added to this group, and then continuing this process until we have this artificial workforce group self-evolving in order to solve more and more and more complex tasks. So this is from the fundamental and core technology, and it's using a lot of reinforcement learning technologies and not only generative models technology and generative AI. So one thing is to build these artificial workforces, and the second thing is how humanity is going to collaborate in the best way with this artificial workforce. We need a lot of feedback in order to bring those artificial workforces to a level of execution that are similar or better than humans. And the best ones to give us this feedback is humanity. And the collaboration between the human workforce and the artificial workforce is going to be crucial on how we are enabling the systems to automate and execute more and more and more complex tasks over time. Ideally, we want every agent in our system to be able to approach to every person in any organization when it wants to ask a question, when it's getting stuck, when its critic technology tells it, I don't know how to solve it by myself. We want it to be able to go to every human in a complete two-sided collaboration process between humanity and the agentic system. So that's what we are working on, and as part of it, we are working also on the fundamental technology of a specific brain, but mostly on how those artificial workforces are working together with the human workforce.
That's fascinating. I'm sure you share my view that this is also futuristic. We hear you talk about collaboration between digital agents and the employee. What is the role of the employee in your vision?
So that's a great question. So I think one of the mistakes that's happening in both companies today and enterprises and governments and a lot of different organizations we are working with today is that they are looking at the individual employee and asking the question of how AI can help this individual employee to do better. That's a very, very problematic way to look at it, because the employee is not necessarily going to do the same things. So you say, like, maybe he'll do something completely different. Let's take the Industrial Revolution for an example. People that handmade, suit T-shirts moved to manage production lines. So they changed the role. The role was evolved to something different, and together they were able to achieve 100x, 1000x more productivity gains than what was possible before. We believe that we'll see a similar process. So first of all, in the first 5, 10, 20 years, we are going to see a lot of the feedback loops coming from humans. We want the agents to be proactive, to ask for feedback when they don't know how to solve a problem, and humans to help them to execute the problem. Agents will learn and will be able to do more and more things. But eventually, people, we believe, will evolve to the strategy, creativity processes, the things that are more random and requires and has less data. So again, connecting to what was told before, has a bit less data on how to take the decisions, what to do in those types of situations. So humans will focus more on those things, but most of the execution problems, we believe that will be transitions to agents eventually, especially first of all, in places that we have a lot of data, but after that, with the human feedback that is going to get to this loop, also with things that currently we don't have enough data, but we are going to collect it.
Thank you, thank you. That's